Hello Milky friends, it is Milk still here with you for another Idle Heroes video. We are doing Masterclass 2 today, and so Masterclass 2 is about resource acquisition, and I'm only going to talk about the places where you can get resources for free, and that is only a couple of areas. So I'm going to talk about, if you refer to the notes, you can see how I've broken it down. I'm going to talk about campaign, which is when you start the game, the key area where you're going to get stuff to get the ball rolling, right? Then I'm going to talk about Celestial Island. I'm going to talk a bit about hearts and why it's important having good friends. And then I'm going to talk about Bond and Bond Quest. So when you start out this game, very few of the areas or places that will continue your Idle Heroes, that you need to continue your Idle Heroes journey are open. So if I go to, and I don't have a new account, so I can't actually show you at what level certain bits and bobs open. So if I go to my alt account, which is level 64, right? Pretty much everything is open, but prior to this level, there are a lot of things that aren't open. I think Aspen Dungeon, yep, see, it only opens at level 72. Tower of Oblivion only opens at a certain level. Similarly, guilds only open at a certain level. Celestial Island also only opens at a certain level. So when you're early game with the campaign, your job is to basically harvest as often as possible. I know there is a 10-hour cap in terms of, where does it say? So it says, higher tiers and higher maps provide better rewards from auto battle and loot. Rewards will be stored up to 10 hours of idling. So basically, you don't need to hit the get button to get these rewards every 10 hours. Well, you don't have to... let me say that again. So you don't have to come into campaign and hit this get button or hit this loot button every hour. You can do it every 10 hours. At the 10-hour mark, the loot stops acquiring and the auto gold spirit experience also stops acquiring, which is a bad thing. So basically, you want to come in before 10-hour mark and just get all the free stuff out. But the key thing to note if you're early game is you want to basically pull stuff from the campaign, hit this get button more often, like every hour, every 2 hours, very early on. Now you're asking, well, Milkstore, why do I need to do that? I can just wait every 10 hours. The key reason why, very, very early on, so this is very early game, like literally when you start, and it's too late now if you're watching this video and you've already started playing. Well, if you started playing for any length of time. But basically, the reason why you want to get your loot as often as possible early on is because you want to progress up these levels as quickly as possible. Because the quicker you progress up these levels, the more loot that you get. Because at high levels, see how it says stage output? These things, they go up in value. So that's the first reason and critical reason why you want to upgrade as quickly as you can. The only way to upgrade as quickly as you can early on is to just come back often, smash the get button, and then do the next level battles and hopefully get through all the way with these next level battles, right? So that's the first thing to be conscious of. So if we do this battle, I can talk in the background. The other reason why you want to level up quickly is because it opens up a whole bunch of other areas in the game, right? You saw Tower Oblivion, Aspen Dungeon. They only open up at certain levels. The quicker you can open up these areas, the more access you have to, the more avenues you have to get other resources, which will help your overall gameplay, right? So those are the two key reasons why you want to level up quickly, and that's how you level up quickly. At the start, you level up quickly by smashing this get button. Like you can literally go up 10 levels within the first hour when you start this game. As you move towards mid game and end game, obviously that's not the case. Like for example, in my main account, I'll go for like days, weeks before I get enough experience to get to the next level. But here, if you're anything less than 100, I would argue you're going to get there pretty quickly if you check campaign and you get the loot quickly. So that's what I want to say about campaign, right? There's not much to it. It's only really critical early on. If you're mid and late game, obviously the rule is get in, get your stuff before the 10-hour mark. Otherwise, if it goes over, you're not going to get more stuff, right? And you're disadvantaged because you're not going to get the spirit and gold, which is so important now, especially now that we can upgrade heroes to level 345. Like, this is your key source of gold and spirit. So once you've, done your due diligence with the campaign and you've opened up a whole bunch of other areas, the other area that I want to talk about is Celestial Islands. But before we get to that, the other key area where you can get a bunch of free stuff is just via hearts, like having an active friends list. So you should try and find 30 active friends that give you hearts daily. Why do you want hearts daily? Because you can go to the summon circle and you can do these friendship summons, right? Friendship summons give you free heroes. They're not all useful, but very early on, this is one of the few places where you can start to build your sources of food very, very quickly, right? So how do you look out for active friends? Well, active friends are, so anyone that's where it says 10 days ago, that's this little number here at the bottom of the names. That's when they last logged in. If it's anything more than 2 to 3 days, I would say drop that friend, especially very early on, right? Because those guys, the rate of attrition, people dropping out of this game at the start is very high. So you continuously have to refresh your friends list on a daily basis. Just kick people that aren't going to stick around. So everyone on my friends list on this account is basically dead. They've gone, right? That's why you see I haven't gotten any hearts from anyone. Whereas you contrast that with my main account, right? My main account, basically everyone on this list plays every single day. So you won't see anyone on here, or hopefully no one on here will show that their last login was more than a day ago, right? You see everyone was like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. That's what you want. So if you don't have active friends, and this principle applies whether you're mid game or late game. If you don't have active friends, you're hampered in terms of how many hearts you get. It's more critical at the start where it's harder to get heroes and resources, food, especially to upgrade heroes. That's where hearts come in handy. It's less important late game, but still, it's free stuff, right? It's not hard to give hearts out daily. And if you're not going to play the game, fine. Just don't be friends with those people that choose to quit the game because it doesn't help you in any way. The other thing to note about friends is, and this probably ties into Celestial Island, is when you are looking for friends, you want to make sure you're friends with at least one whale, because that'll come in for Celestial Island, which I will talk about now. So at a certain level, you're going to be able to open up Celestial Island. This is your other source of free stuff, right? And there are 3 parts to Celestial Island. There is this main island where you can build mines, statues or totems, and the tower. The tower, but it doesn't give you anything in itself. But as you upgrade the tower, you open up adventure, right? You get more mines, more slots to build more mines, and that is very, very important. So this is what a Celestial Island looks like when you are first confronted with it. And this is what a Celestial Island looks like when it is fully upgraded, more or less. Like you've done everything, right? So a fully done Celestial Island looks something like this, where you're going to have a fully upgraded watchtower, gets to level 20. You're going to have a furnace where you can make a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to use in the game. And I'm going to talk about what I do with my furnace. And you're going to have the ability to create these mines, which self-generate gems, gold, and pink dust. So when you're early in the game, the key thing you want to do first up, early game, you basically want to upgrade your tower to level 6 as quickly as possible in the first instance, before you even think about building a mine. And then you want to get into adventure, right? The only reason why you want to upgrade the tower to level 6 is to open up adventure, because adventure opens up another world of resources that you can get, right? So that is my tip for early game on Celestial Island. Build the tower to level 6, then that opens up adventure. When you've opened up adventure, then you can think about, okay, what you can build some of these mines now, right? You can consider building the gold mine, the gem mine, or the pink dust mine. Pink dust mine, I would say, build last. Build either the gold or gem mine in the first instance. That's far more valuable early game than, say, pink dust. Pink dust you should really only consider towards when you've got your first maybe 1 or 2 E5 heroes. But in the first instance, I would absolutely build pink dust, gold mine and gem mines. And as a general rule, it is better to build like these 4 of these, or to like two. It is better to build 2 gem mines side by side and at low levels, then concentrate just on 1 gem mine and getting it all the way to level 60. Because it requires less resources to build 2 at 30 than actually 1 at 60. You would think, well, surely 1 gem mine at level 60 is worth 2 at 30 in terms of resources. It isn't. It takes a lot less resources to build 2 at 30 than 1 at 60. And overall, having 2 mines will get you more resources than 1 at a very high level. That's just back of envelope help. That's just my experience. All right, so that's the main island on Celestial Island. In terms of the expedition, so let's go back to the expedition. So an expedition with a fully upgraded tower is going to have a lot of these islands on the side that you can smash and get resources with. On the very early game, you are not going to have as many islands to smash, which is not as great, but it is what it is. So like early on, see, there's only 2 islands that you can smash and where you can get resources. And these islands, right, including this main boss, this is the only place where you can get the Celestial Island crystals, which I forget the name. This Stone of Void. Why do you need Stone of Void? Stone of Void is the only way you can upgrade Watchtower. See how it requires Stone of Void? It is also the only way you can build and upgrade a furnace, and it is also the only way that you can. So it is the only way you can upgrade and build those 2 things. So it is in your interest to do well here on these Celestial Islands. And so you should theoretically be able to smash or battle through these little mini islands with 1 shot. So if I do that, no. We have to watch. Can't. And so that's the other advantage. You cannot auto smash these islands, it looks like, until you get to a certain level. You have to watch the whole battle, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So there we go. 1 shot. Both these islands you can 1 shot. The only thing you can't 1 shot early in the game is this Celestial Island boss. And this is where you want to have a very powerful friend, because for the Celestial Island boss, you can actually use your powerful friend to kill this guy off. All right. So that's the key things to know about these islands. You want to smash these islands, and you want to have, and this is why you want a powerful friend on your friends list. It's because you can use them to smash this boss and defeat this boss and get the rewards from that, right? So if I battle this guy, I almost certainly will just die in a heartbeat with this lineup. Yeah, it requires level 70. So that's early game, right? Early game, you want to hit these islands as often as you can just to get the void stones so you can upgrade the tower and you can upgrade your furnace, and also it's feedstock for your furnace, right? When I say feedstock for your furnace, it means it's a material that you need to feed the furnace to build other things. So if we go to my Celestial Island on my primary account, basically you see the void stones. You can feed it into the furnace to make promotion stones, to make pink dust, to make these pet bits, monster souls and chaos stones, and also to get more bag space for your bag. If you are a free-to-play player, this is the only way you can increase your bag space without spending gems. I primarily use the furnace for magic dust. I don't really need it for the pet bits. The pet bits you're going to acquire over time. It is more important for pink dust for me. And that's why I haven't upgraded my furnace all the way. But every time I get voidstone and I have enough, I basically fuse them all together. And I create just more pink dust. The final thing I wanted to talk to you with regards to the expedition. That's not good English. Regarding expedition, there's one more thing that's worth noting, right? And I can't show it on this account. But basically, if we go back to my alt account, so my newer account, basically you're going to have way more flowers than if we go back to the expedition. So to hit these islands, you need these flowers, right? So what do you call them? Purple daffodils. And these purple daffodils, I think they regenerate like 1 an hour, something like that. But you basically need a purple daffodil. It's your energy to hit these islands, right? More often than not, you're going to have way more daffodils than you know what to do with. So rather than one-shot everything and be, for example, if you have a powerful enough team, you could basically one-shot both these islands and that boss. And it's only going to cost you 3 daffodils. And then it's going to take like 6 hours for it all to regenerate again, by the time which your daffodils would replenish like X time over. Like, you're going to get more than, over a 6 hour period, you're going to get way more than 3 daffodils regenerating. So you don't want to be left with excess daffodils. So what you should do to prevent being left with excess daffodils and to use all the daffodils that are available to you to acquire resources is with the Nest of Void boss. You basically want to smash this guy a few times with one really weak hero, because smashing it with one really weak hero, even though you might not win, you still get resources, right? Okay, the resources are infinitesimally small, but over a long enough period of time, this shit adds up. And it's especially important very early game. It's probably maybe not as impactful mid game and late game, but very early game. 32,000 gold and 6 void stones. That's a lot. So you just see what I did there. Smashed him a couple of times. Couldn't win. So I'm left with 2 daffodils. I could probably smash it one more time. And I will. And with that one daffodil that you have left, you should then get your very powerful friend with hopefully who already has a much more powerful team than you to finish off this boss. All right, he's at 87%. One more kill should kill him. You're not going to be, like I said, you're not going to be able to very early on one-shot this guy by yourself. That's why you find a whale to be friends with. This assist button is less relevant mid-game and late game as you build your own E5 heroes. And then you can just take out the boss by yourself. So that's the expedition on Celestial Island. The last thing I want to talk about on Celestial Island is adventure. When you've opened up adventure, the key thing that you want to do on adventure is basically when you get this ship and they say you get experience to upgrade the ship. The first thing and the only thing that you should upgrade in the first instance and get it all the way to max level is the engine. The engine allows you to complete adventures quicker. Why is it important to complete adventures quicker? Well, when you complete an adventure, you get these key rewards. You get the puppet, you get adventurer's medal, and you get fleet experience. This fleet experience is what you use to upgrade the ship with. This adventurer's medal is what you need to upgrade these statues that you have that you can build on Celestial Island. And these statues are kind of like Guild Tech. They increase the attributes of your heroes depending on which statue you build. Everyone's built speed because of the carry meta, but you can build statues that increase your attack, increase your defense. But back to adventure. Why is it important to upgrade your engine first? The reason why you want to upgrade your engine first is because you want to complete those adventures as quickly as possible. So when you finish adventure and you're given fleet experience and you're given the opportunity to upgrade your ship, upgrade the engine all the way to level 6 first. By finishing your adventures quicker, you're going to acquire these adventurous metal and these experience and the food quicker than someone else who did not bother upgrading their engine. That is the biggest tip I can give new players. Don't upgrade Arsenal, right? You're not going to have, chances are, you're not going to have enough power in your lineup to kill any team you face during an adventure, right? So when you see a plunder quest come up, adventure, where you get to fight another opponent, chances are you're going to get creamed, like irrespective. So you should just not do those quests when they come up. Even if you upgrade it, you're still not going to win. The only other thing I might upgrade after you've done speed on fleet is the cargo hold. So the reason why you want to upgrade your cargo hold is because it gives you more material at the end of the adventure. It's more critical early on than later, but yeah, the cargo hold, as you upgrade it, there's a multiplier that applies to the numbers you see here, so you get more of this stuff at the end. And finally, the third thing, or the second or third thing you should upgrade is durability. So you're going to encounter events throughout the adventure that are going to damage your ship. Increasing fleet armor means you basically get more health for the ship, right? And why is health important? Because below a certain level, your performance is impacted, right? So if we look here, it says when your fleet's durability is below 90, for every 10 durability your fleet loses, your final rewards are reduced by 5%, right? So that's bad. Like, you start losing these rewards below that threshold, that durability threshold. Even worse, if you just completely ignore durability and you just get attacked, and you're not going to spend gems to repair your ship, because durability, see how mine's 110 out of 180, you can repair your ships for 50 gems and it'll get you 20 repair. If you just said, no, I'm not going to spend gems on repairing my ship, can't be bothered, at a certain point, you're missing out. You're hurting yourself. When durability is 60% or lower, your fleet's cruise speed is reduced by 25%, right? So that basically, does away all the advice that I gave you in terms of repairing your engine first, so then your speed can be as quick as possible, right? You absolutely do not want your durability to fall below 60. 90 is okay. You could argue, look, I don't get enough materials to make it worthwhile for me to upgrade, but definitely if it ever gets below 60, bad, really bad. I, as a general rule, never repair my ship unless it gets below 90, because 90 is the threshold where just some bad stuff just starts happening, right? So that is adventure basically for the newer players. If you are a mid or end game player, then the key tip, and early game as well, then the key tip is obviously to do with stamina. Stamina, I think you get one every few hours basically. But when the amount of stamina you get hits 10, right? When you get 10 stamina, that's the cap. Like, you will not get any more stamina beyond that. Every time you get a stamina, you should seek to use it. You should use Let me take a step back. Because it doesn't go beyond 10, you need to use all the stamina before it gets to 10, right? Why do you use stamina? Stamina lets you explore. Exploring gets you more stuff, right? You can find shipwrecks, which you can attack, and it gets you chests. You can find islands. You can find new routes. Stamina is good because it lets you explore. Exploring gets you stuff, right? And it's free. So if you're giving free stuff and you're too lazy to get it, well then why do you bother playing this game? It's going to give you an advantage, right? So I've seen a lot of people, they just let stamina just get to 10 and then, oh yeah, I'll work on this. I only really want the rewards at the end. No. Always, if you're mid-game, early game, or late game, always use up your stamina before it gets to 10. When it gets to 9, that's when you should use all of it if you're saving it up, right? The other tip that I would give you is, as you're nearing the end of a journey, right, you should absolutely, if you have any stamina beyond like 2, 3, or 4, use it all at once, because you're trying to look for the speed boosting events like the stranded ship or plunder. Because what you don't want to happen is, for example, see how I've got 12 hours left? What I absolutely do not want to happen is to have 10 stamina here or 9 stamina here. I hit explore twice. I find 2 things that speed up my cruise. And then I finish the cruise and I'm left with 7 stamina that is unused. That's just a waste. They've given you something, you haven't used it, and now you've sort of left stuff on the table. Right. So you should always use stamina when it comes up. And especially more so towards the end of a journey, when you can complete that journey just hopefully a smidge quicker. So then you leave no stamina on the table. You basically want to complete an adventure with 0 stamina. Right. So that's basically it in terms of resource acquisitions and what you should do in each of the different areas. So if I look at my notes, campaign I already talked about. So critical very early on to level up, but then mid-late game, make sure you collect your stuff from campaign every 8 to 10 hours, because otherwise you're leaving stuff on the table. Celestial Island, early game, basically upgrade your tower as quickly as possible to level 6, so then you can open up adventures, so then you can get more free stuff, more resources. Then after you've built your open up adventure, then think about building your first mine, and that should be a gold or a gem mine. You shouldn't build a pink dust mine first. And then make friends with a whale, so then you can one shot. So then you can one shot on expedition the main boss, right? Then beyond that, if you're mid to late game, then it's really more or less about ensuring that you use up your flowers as and when they're given to you. So smashing the void boss just to get the incremental little rewards with a very weak hero, and then to finish him off, just your powerful team with 1 or 2 daffodils left, just finish that boss off. All right, so that is my only tip to you on Celestial Island. If you're mid game, that's when you perhaps can start considering building pink dust mine, and certainly building a furnace to get more pink dust. Pink dust becomes more important to you mid game than it is early game, and so it's only really mid game where you should start to think about building mines that give you the pink dust. Right. There are other mines that you can build here as well, and you can see that I haven't done it, I think. Is that right? No, there are only 3 mines that you can build. So I've built all the mines. Ignore that. Then on the adventure, I've already talked about adventure and what you should do here as an early game player, or when you first open up adventure. Upgrade speed, upgrade cargo, and then maybe upgrade armor. Use up all your stamina before you hit 10, and that applies from mid game all the way through to late game. The last thing I want to talk about is the bond quest. And so you're like, people that aren't new to this game already know about the bond quest, so you guys can tune out now. What is the bond quest? So the bond quest is, what is it? It was like a campaign that they introduced to encourage players who have been active for more than 30 days to come back, right? So basically, if you play every day, you have a friend who, say, hadn't played for 30 days. If that friend comes back after 30 days, you can bond with that player that has just come back via the comeback radio. You both do a bunch of quests, and then at the end of it, you're going to get some rewards, right? So, and you don't have to each individually complete your quests. So when you bond with your friend, you're each supposed to complete these quests, and if you both complete these solo quests, then you both get the rewards for the associated quest that you've each completed. So if you both complete the Crystal Crown League quest on your side, you both get as your reward 10 scrolls. But the nice thing about the bond quest is you don't actually have to complete these solo quests. You only have to wait 30 days. After 30 days, if you completed none of these quests, that's fine. You both still get the rewards from the overall bond quest. And these rewards are amazing. So you get scrolls, you get prophet orbs, you get light and dark elite hero shards, you get orange artifact fragments, and you get a deluxe artifact box where you have a chance to win, or not to win, but to get a pay to win artifact, and that's pretty darn amazing, right? And so then you're like, well, I don't have any friends that haven't played for 30 days. That's fine, guys. What you can do is you can create, like what I've done is, when this Bond quest thing came out, I basically created 2 alternate accounts using the same login, right? Left these accounts for 30 days, and then one by one, well, just one, not one by one, but one at a time, every 30 days, I opened up one alt account. I bonded that alt account with my primary account, waited 30 days, got the rewards, right? Then I moved on to the next alt account, which would have been inactive theoretically for 60 days, opened that account up, bonded it with my primary account, did that, got the rewards, moved on, right? And so with your primary account, you can bond with up to 3 people, or like you can do this bond quest 3 times, right? So that's the next big tip for early game players, especially if you're a Dolphin or a free-to-play player. That is after 90 days, you're going to get a fuck ton of free stuff. And that is the quickest way to get a lot of the critical resources like scrolls and profit orbs that you need to progress in this game. And it's completely free. Yes, it's a bit of effort to like create 3 separate new accounts, but it is well worth it. It is well worth the effort. The only other thing to note about Comeback Radio is I think the account that you bond with, I think they have to be of a certain level, and I think it's like level 50. I'm not 100% certain because I did this such a long time ago, but that's why on my alt accounts I got them. I had to play on them for like 3 days, harvest the campaign, and get them up to a certain level. I think it's either 50 or 60, but just to be safe, get them to level 60. It's only going to take like 3 to 4 days of on and off playing. But yeah, that's the last big tip I'm going to give you in terms of resource acquisition and stuff that you can get for free in this game. Anyway, that's Masterclass 2. Thank you for watching. Masterclass 3 is about guilds, guild coins, and guild tech. And that video should shortly follow this one. Anyway, guys, hope you found that useful. Leave a comment down below in the description if you have more questions, but hopefully that gives you a sense of what to focus on in terms of resource acquisition, free resource acquisition, as you move throughout the game. A lot of this advice is more useful for the players that are starting than it is for the game people that are in mid-game or late game. If you have discovered something about resource acquisitions on any of the things that I've discussed that I've missed, please do share it down below. I'm always continuously updating this guide as I find more and more things that I don't know about. Anyway, thanks for watching.